What's going on, guys? It's your man Lynch, and today we're starting a new series on this channel called Let Me Test Your Work, where I'll be going around meeting with the cream of the crop, the best dealers in my area, and asking them to let me test their work. On this channel, we're going to get booted, we're going to get zooted, and we're going to get lifted, all in the name of finding the best work in my town. JK, we're actually starting a new series on this channel called Making Music with Lynch. And basically I'm gonna make songs from start to finish, starting with instrumentals, laying down vocals, and mixing the final product to get the best product that we can possibly get. With that being said, thank you for tuning in, thank you for joining me, and welcome to episode 1 of Let Me Test Your Work. I love the whole rage thing going on, and I also love black metal, so I figured why not put the two together? So I decided to go ahead and just make a ton of songs in a vein where it has elements of both genres. So basically what I did was I learned how to make a rage beat. And for rage music, everyone knows the go-to plugin is Serum. So I got me a little copy of Serum legally, and I made this lead. C to B, real simple stuff. And the thought was, okay, I like the way this sounds. How could I make it sound more metal? It's very simple enough. I think I was using a reference track. I was probably listening to like Stop Breathing or some shit, and I was just like, all right, let me just steal some of the simplicity of that and just add some shit. So basically what I did was I added an EQ on it just to get rid of some of the harsher frequencies. Basically anything that's above like maybe 12,000 hertz I like to get rid of entirely. And of course, since it's gonna be a lead, you could get rid of all of the lower end stuff. I honestly could have cut it a little more, but I guess that's where I felt comfortable. And from there I added guitar rig. I just went through some presets and I found this one called 2 in the Street. Added that one, and this was what it sounded like after I added the guitar rig. So it sounded a bit more sinister. Sounded like something from like a horror movie kind of. But there's still some frequencies that were bugging me, so I added a second EQ just to kind of get rid of that high mid, around the 2,000, 3,000-ish range. And I decided to get rid of the rest of the low end. So that was the first sound. After that, I figured, okay, can't just have one sound, gotta at least have two sounds. There's not much to these rage beats. It's like, let me not say that. There's much to some of these rage beats, but the most simple ones probably have like maybe 4 or 5 sounds, 4 or 5 solid sounds, and everything else is just like extra. So you have some root sounds, like a lead, maybe a second lead, and then you got the 808, and from that point like forward, it's mostly like percussion. And then a lot of the guys like to add more leads and add more melodies and whatnot to really make shit sound cool, but I just want meat and potatoes. So I pulled up a second Serum, found a basic preset, added something. I added guitar rig again, but this time I used the preset that I created a while back. Anyways, I used the preset. I add the preset on there, and it changed the sound from this to this. Basically just adding that noise, because a lot of black metal just have this noise that kind of builds an atmosphere. Add an EQ just to, you know, get rid of any harsh unwanted frequencies. And then I layered them together, or matter of fact, I made this pattern. Yeah, sounds like noise, right? Yeah, that was the beauty of it. Just sounds like noise. So I decided to add the same exact thing an octave higher to try to see if I could get some actual notes ringing out. And I was able to get this. There's barely a difference, but there is a difference. There's a slight difference. With that being said, I got the two together, and this is what they sound like. So basically, I just made some noise. Just some noise. You know? How can you call this a rage beat? It's just noise. The rage beat comes in later. The rage beat is not the noise, but the 808. At least that's my favorite part of every rage beat. This 808 right here is probably my favorite 808. But it wasn't good enough, you know? Came up with a very, very, very simple pattern. But of course, it could be harder. It could be much harder. With that being said, I added some distortion and an EQ. Cut off all the highs up to about 2K. I upped some of the low ends, the low mids, just to kind of add some more punch to it, and brought up the low end, which, if you want a nice clean mix, you don't want to do something like this. It's gonna make the rest of the instrumentation sound muddy. It's gonna make everything sound super muddy, but I don't give a fuck, cause I'm just trying to make some shit that sounds hard. And I was able to come up with this. Super simple 808, super simple. There's nothing to this fucking shit. And so I just added these. If you add all of them together with the presets and the whatnots, the VSTs, the sound design, all the extra beauty, you get something like this. Sounds like harsh noise music with 808s, which personally I think is gas. I could get behind the genre of just harsh noise music with 808s. With that being said, of course, no trap or rage or rap influenced music is it's really complete without some hi-hats and some snares. So I went ahead and threw whatever pack I was using, and I found these filthy snares. Real simple. And then I found a nice little hi-hat, the one that was used on Die Free Guy on Whole Lotta Red. Simple ass shit. Super simple. Of course, you gotta do a little bit of just, basic leveling. Level the fucking hi-hats down some. I think they're leaning more towards, they're panning more left, so it just panned them kind of right. Yeah. Did a almost no leveling on there. It's just a fucking dry snare. Slightly leveled hi-hat. And the finished product was what's this right here? So I was like, alright, I got got the super simple, super cool sounding harsh noise rage beat. Simple bass, literally one pattern throughout. Simple fucking melodies, one pattern throughout. You know, this is probably someone who's trying to sell beats like worst nightmare. There's literally nothing going on outside of 5 sounds and they play over and over again. Anyways, if you look at a lot of the songs on Whole Lotta Red, you'll notice a similar pattern between a bunch of them. It's that there's literally a few patterns going on repeatedly, and the real star of the show is the artist. And the way he does his vocals and the way he attacks the beats is really the bread and butter of what makes that album so good. Like the instrumentation and the style is absolutely fantastic, but it's not like difficult beats or anything. It's not fucking, you know, Kendrick Lamar to Pimp a Butterfly type beats. It's not fucking super intricate or anything. They're super simple, basic 5 instrument ass fucking beats. Like when you hop on YouTube and you're going through fucking type beats and you're hearing all types of crazy shit, it's like, oh yeah, you could do a lot with that. Or you could just kind of pop up, open your FL Studios, lay down some simple ass ideas, throw some sounds on there, do a little bit of sound design, tweak them. You can have something that sounds a little different, a lot different. And everything that happens on the vocal end is literally up to you. Let's get into the vocals.
Demons in the sky. I drank up that warm red and watched the virgin die.
So after I got all these lyrics down, right, I decided, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a little mix on them. And this mix was basically a preset I created and I've used for most of the songs moving forward. It's not a perfect mix. It's not the best mix, but it's a mix that works for what I'm doing at the moment. So I put an EQ on there. Put an EQ on there. Okay. Yeah. So I put an EQ on there.
I summoned up the living dead.
Got rid of the
demons
low
in the
ends,
sky.
bumped up some of the mids.
I drank up that warm red.
And after I bumped up, I added this channel, this DD channel. This is a free VST. I think everybody should go get it if they can.
I summoned up the living dead.
I turned on this channel.
Demons in the sky.
Cut out some of the low ends, because my mic is very low end based, as well as some of the low mids, just to kind of push it more towards a mid and high frequency, because that's where I want to shine the most. I don't know if you guys remember, but in the instrumental, it has that heavy bass. So there's no reason to compete with the heavy bass at all. If I compete with the heavy bass, it's just going to make my vocals sound so much more muddy. So chop down the low ends a bit, and I increase the high mid frequencies where my voice tends to sit the best, as well as some of the higher frequencies. Afterwards, I use a high pass filter to kind of cut down, just so there's not too much. There's none of those disgusting sounding, just frequencies in the mix. I turned the low pass pretty high. I added a de-esser to get rid of some of the semblance in the vocal.
I summoned up the living dead.
It doesn't push too much,
demons
but
in
it
the
pushes
sky.
a decent amount.
I drank up that warm red.
Afterwards, I added some fruity reverb.
I summoned up the living dead.
And what I did with this fruity reverb is I turned down all of the wet and all of the early reflection, and I drove up some of the bass a little, and basically turned the size of the room to as low as possible, to 0, to 1. Anyways, afterwards I turned on this fucking fruity blood overdrive to add some distortion to the mix. And adding some distortion to the mix gives the voice,
I summoned up the living dead.
Gives the vocal a lot more rap.
Demons in the sky. I drank up that warm red and watched a virgin die.
So, basically, turn this fruity blood overdrive on, play with the settings a little, found what I liked. Can't redo it, but at the time it was what it was. And then I turned the fucking delay on, dude.
I summoned up the living dead. Demons in the sky. I drank up that warm red and watched a virgin die.
And I actually added some clarity to the vocal, and it added some volume, which was necessary. Afterwards, I threw on some reverb with a little bit of wet, because now we want some actual reverb. With the actual reverb, it sounds like this.
I summoned up the living dead. Demons in the sky. I drank up that warm red.
I felt like I was at a good point with these vocals. So what I did was I added some ad-libs. And with the ad-libs, I placed them all in areas where they would work. So
I summoned up the living dead. Demons in the sky. I drank up that warm red and watched a virgin die. You could call this shit hell, but it's paradise.
At this point, I was basically done. And for the project, I ended up mastering every single song in the same project file, because I'm using this one technique of mastering, which, in all honesty, is probably not the best. I know there's a lot of people who go out their way to master everything, you know, as well as possible, especially when they're trying to get heard, and, you know, you want people to pay attention to, you know, your music and whatnot, and you want everything to sound amazing, and you want to maximize whatever opportunities you might have. But in all honesty, for me, it's always been about making something with what I have and with my abilities, and that's why I spent so many years learning how to do certain things. And it sucks, because now I'm like jack of all trades. I can make a beat, I can mix a song, you know, I could rap if it need be, but I'm not particularly great at any of them. But with all of those abilities, I'm able to make a pretty good product. With that being said, I fucking mastered this song with this guy right here. And I know some people throw on EQs and whatnot when they're mastering, but I just decided I did all of my mixing, I did most of my EQing, or all of my EQing. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna throw on this Brainworks fucking plugin that I got for free, by the way. You guys could go to brainworks.com and get this shit for free by just making an account. And I did the mastering. With that being said, this is the final product of this song.
Somebody call her. Where's the knife? I just got a new knife. die? Somebody get sacrificed. Sacrifice. 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 Somebody get sacrificed.
Anyways, that's the song for you guys. It's a pretty tight song. It's probably going to be on SoundCloud and Bandcamp once this is up and done. I probably won't put any of the tracks that you see within the next week on DSPs until I'm probably done with the series and making the rest of the songs. So we're looking at 5 more episodes, and we'll have it on DSPs. So maybe we're looking at like 3 or 4 weeks from now, everything will be on DSPs. With that being said, if you want to hear the track solo, you could probably hear it on SoundCloud or on Bandcamp. Everything will be linked to the bio. Thanks guys for tuning in to today's episode, and I just want to take this time to say I've been making music for a very, very long time. A lot of people believe the best way to up your chances of becoming a success is to outsource all of the work that you don't care to do and focus in on the parts that you actually do care to do. And I believe that advice is probably the best advice that you could give to anyone who's trying to succeed in the music industry. But in all honesty, if you don't have the resources to outsource everything that you don't care about and focus only on something that you care about, you're going to be in a position where you'll have ideas and you'll have visions that you want to make tangible, but you'll be bound by your limited skill or whatnot. I just want to show people that it's completely possible to be self-sufficient and to learn various skills. Even if you don't get amazing at any of them, you can learn a ton of skills, and you can use those skills to make your vision tangible. Now, will learning these skills and making your vision a tangible thing bring you financial success? Will it bring you fame? Will it bring you fortunes? Will it bring you bitches? I don't know. That's really up to you. For most people, it doesn't, but for some people, it does. And if that's what you're going for, if that's what you're looking for, your best bet is to definitely outsource those things that you don't care about and really lock in and focus and build that one thing that you do care about. But for anybody out there who just want to get their vision out, get their art out, just make a piece of work that they're proud of and they look forward to sharing with people, I think the best thing you can do is become self-sufficient in every aspect of creating that vision. If there's a will, there's a way. If you want to make art, if you want to create, nothing should be able to hold you back. Nothing should be able to stop you. It's in your best interest to become completely self-sufficient and self-reliant until you have the means to outsource that work. In which case, that's pretty sick. My main goal is to just show people that it's possible. With that being said, I appreciate everybody here watching. I appreciate everybody who made it this far into the video. Please leave a like, please subscribe, please leave some comments. All of that stuff will probably help me out. It's your boy Lynch, and I'm out.